none of this is a zero-sum game. Like me winning doesn't require anyone else to lose. But for me, winning is about achieving something through my work. So whenever I do the work and focus on the quality of my work itself without obsessing about the output and what will happen when I achieve the output and counting my dollars and doing all of the fixation on the end goal, instead fixate on the quality of the input, I do my best work. I think all this, the competitiveness and obsessing about whether or not it will yield the result that I want, was a distraction.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the HumanizeHer podcast. I'm your host, Erica Lockheimer.
And I'm your co-host, Elizabeth.
Meet Anu Muralidharan, Chief Operating Officer of Expensify. With a rigorous technical foundation, an engineering degree from the elite BITS Pilani, and an MBA from Cornell University, Anu had the credentials. But she was vulnerable with us and shared she felt stressed and completely unmotivated midpoint in her career. Despite climbing the corporate ladder at giants like Oracle and Citi, she realized she needed to find her true north by shifting her focus from chasing outcomes to now obsessing over the quality of the input. She embraced a challenging unstructured role at Expensify, where she drove core strategy and led the company through its 2021 IPO. It's a powerful story of personal transformation. I hope you enjoy her episode on the HumanizeHer podcast. This episode of HumanizeHer is brought to you by BitGo. Just like we believe every woman deserves the tools to thrive, BitGo believes every business deserves the digital asset infrastructure to scale, because digital represents more accessibility, more transparency, and more possibilities for everyone. Thank you, BitGo, for sponsoring Women's Voices. Welcome to HumanizeHer, Anu.
Welcome.
I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, we're so happy you're here all the way from New York.
I am.
Brooklyn. We
Yep.
love Brooklyn.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's like a beautiful city. So today is actually a big celebration. We're grateful that you're here to get to celebrate a milestone for HumanizeHer. We reached 1,000 followers.
Congratulations.
So cheers to that.
And scratch that, we just hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. This episode was recorded several months ago, so thank you for all your support. And we're on this journey with HumanizeHer, so I like to talk about, like, you know, some people are like, how do you decide to bring these guests on? Like, how do you find these amazing women? And in your case, someone had reached out to us, Allison, your partner friend, and said, hey, we have a mutual friend, Amy, who was also on our HumanizeHer podcast.
Amy Wong.
Okay. And said, hey, it's a mutual friend of Anu's as well. Anu would love to be on the podcast. I was like, oh, this is when you know the stars align with like women and the network. And so I immediately reached out to Amy, and Amy's like, hey, that was one person that I was going to recommend to be on the podcast was Anu. So I was like, oh my goodness, this is like perfect.
Meant to be.
Yeah. And then also, can you tell how you know Amy? Because Amy, we met from many years ago at coaching sessions. And then she's also my personal coach, but sounds like.
Amy, I like to say Amy was my personal coach, my executive coach. Only use the word was because she's more my friend now. And now I just use her services for free.
That's nice.
That's
a good deal.
Got a big fat bill.
She's going to kill me.
She's going to kill you. Yeah. Amy, what's going on
I mean,
here?
you can't call your friend and then start ranting and raving and they send you a bill. Like, that would not be nice. So that's my new scam. But
that's amazing.
Amy's like my Sherpa for life. But there's actually a very crazy story, and I'm always reminding her of it because it's just so meant to be. And like synchronicity with how we came together, that's an insane story. So in 2018, I don't remember why, but I decided I must get a career coach. And for some reason, I decided to look on Yelp, of all places.
Really?
Wow.
I mean, what a crazy
In
thing to do.
2018, I feel like Yelp was a little outdated by now, or
I
no?
would think Yelp was like more
still
restaurants. I wouldn't even
around.
think about like
Totally.
coaching.
Totally.
Like,
I don't know what I was doing, but
okay.
I guess other services you look on, I have no idea. I do think it sounds nuts now. And you know what's more nuts? She had a page on Yelp, which I'm always teasing. Well, who told you to do that? But that's
obviously it worked this time, but
But then there was more to that. So I reached out to her, but then her assistant actually at the last minute said she does not have any bandwidth to take on new clients, so we'll have to circle back with you later. And that's where it died. Then I think I must have gotten on some sort of marketing list of hers. And I don't remember ever seeing anything before, but in 2020, this one particular day, and we were in closed down, like shutdown mode because of COVID, I saw a newsletter of hers. And, I was just like sitting around in the morning, like completely unmotivated. And I read it. And I would never read those things, but I read that one. And it just spoke to me so directly. So then I reached out to her again, thinking, okay, maybe now. And this time it clicked.
Wow.
I started working with her. I've worked with her ever since. I introduced my husband to her. I introduced one of my colleagues to her.
Wow.
I mean, I think all of us, transformations all around. And so, I mean, I'm her biggest fan.
Yeah.
Wow,
And her
that's
friend now.
fantastic. Yeah. So what's great about Amy, and I just, it's total synergy too. When she was on here on the HumanizeHer podcast, we literally had a live coaching session with her. And after that whole experience, it was like, I need additional help.
Yeah.
So I've already had 2 sessions with her. She's absolutely phenomenal. But everybody needs a coach. And I asked her, I go, do you have a coach?
Yeah.
She has a coach. Like everybody, and she's coaching, and everybody needs a coach.
Yeah.
So it's just, again, reassuring, like we all need that additional help. And it's interesting, you said you decided you need a coach, and you're like, I don't know, like, was there something that happened, or what made you think that you wanted to take that leap?
I can't remember what was the impetus in 2018 for sure. But in 2020, I was just completely unmotivated. And, the entire time, I didn't quite know what she did, right? I was looking for a career coach, and she popped up, and then the newsletter spoke to me. She, in the best possible way, what she did for me was not at all what I expected out of it. What I thought I was going to get was, I thought that, so ironic now, I thought that maybe I'm in the wrong line of work, that maybe I feel so unmotivated because I'm doing something that's not actually inspiring to me. And I felt very stressed out and a lot of performance anxiety and a lot of what I guess would be called scarcity-based thinking. I was constantly in my head competing with others and always somehow falling short, or like achieving what I wanted, but so stressed up right until the moment that I achieve it that it didn't feel like achievement at all. And so I had attributed all that to, I'm just in the wrong place.
What were you doing at the time?
I was at Expensify. And I was doing exactly what I continued to do a year from then, but I just saw it all completely differently. So I thought that a career coach helps you find another job. But actually what I needed was to find my own true north.
Wow.
And that's not what I set out to do, but that's what I ended up doing.
Yeah.
And you lose your true north. I lose my true north all the time. But now I feel like a roadmap to find it back. But that's sort of was my impetus. I just felt like nothing I was achieving made me feel good, and also was so stressful and in my mind a constant state of competition with everybody.
Wow. So what is your true north?
Yeah.
I know.
I'm all, ooh, this is good.
What's my true north? How do we say it concisely? I think the problem which I identified when I worked with her, but over the course of time, it keeps coming back and I have to keep on relearning it, is that none of this is a zero-sum game. Like me winning doesn't require anyone else to lose. But for me, winning is about achieving something through my work. So whenever I do the work and focus on the quality of my work itself without obsessing about the output and what will happen when I achieve the output and counting my dollars and doing all of the fixation on the end goal, instead fixate on the quality of the input, I do my best work. And I think all this the competitiveness and obsessing about whether or not it will yield the result that I want was a distraction and caused all that stress and took away so much of my bandwidth from putting that same bandwidth into the quality of my work would in fact guarantee the output, except it was kind of just making the whole process not enjoyable.
Yeah.
And I think that's because a lot of my work with her was about identifying my insecurities. What am I trying to prove to myself and why? And could I just stop so that I could free myself? And it's quite hard to do in practice, but over time kind of fell into place.
Wow. Congratulations.
awesome.
You
Thank
seem
you.
very happy.
Yeah. And you're focusing on the journey itself instead of the end goal, which I think
Yeah.
is so important because everybody's always chasing a bright, shiny object at
Totally.
the end of the day.
Yeah.
But take the time to enjoy the journey along that way. And the outcome, it sounds like from you, what you've realized is the outcome is going to turn out to be probably that or better.
Yeah.
And you're enjoying it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more the input and the process of it. Like that's where you're doing your best work, and the
Totally.
output is like a benefit of,
Yeah.
of that, which
Yeah.
sounds like you realize. But you're right. Like we always kind of look at just the end goal and figure out, but the path to get there.
Yeah.
I love that. So let's talk about your career journey.
Yeah.
What, can you give us a little bit of background? Of you can start wherever you want, from when you're young, little, old, whatever you. But yeah, give us a little background on you. It would be fantastic.
So I am from a pretty middle class Indian family. And, I was always raised with the work ethic that you work really hard, you get a job that makes money, you can buy the finer things in life. Like that was my roadmap. And so even as a kid, this competitiveness was like a common theme. I was always racing towards something. And then I would get there and then just feel, never celebrate, never feel happy because suddenly there's more and more stress and more places to race to. It was constant. And ironically, every time, it just felt like the whole thing was, like I was saying earlier, very unenjoyable. But that was all I knew how to do, so I kept doing it. So I went to one of the best engineering schools. I went to Cornell.
Wow.
I got the jobs I wanted. I just never felt any sense of I can do whatever I want was not a thing I ever thought. And despite doing everything I ever wanted, that self-confidence was always at rock bottom for me. It always felt like this is the thing, that's it. After this, nothing's ever going to work out. And then I would stress myself out. At a point in time, I think, it's sometimes pretty good when you hit rock bottom, when you hit like a very bad low, because you change something. Like you have leverage now to change some pattern in your life because it's so unbearably horrible. I hit that in my job before Expensify because, and this is an insight I had in retrospect. I didn't think like this at the time.
It's always that, right? You're like, oh, it's
This is
obvious
so
now.
Hindsight's 2020, right?
There's
So
a
they
reason
say.
for that. Yeah.
The reason I think I felt no confidence was because I wasn't actually doing anything that impressed me. I didn't do anything that I felt, oh my God, this thing that I just did was so hard and didn't feel possible, and then I did it. I never felt that way about anything I did. So I had this job, I hated it. It wasn't the job's fault. I just wasn't really doing anything interesting, and I wasn't deriving any self-confidence from it. And I met Expensify's CEO in the course of that job.
Was that a leadership position? And
No.
Oh, okay.
I just met him. He was looking to use the product that I was working on
I see.
at this other company.
Got it.
So as like salesperson number 6 or something.
Got it.
That was, and I couldn't tell you why I did it. It was quite random. I decided I will quit this job and try to work at Expensify, and I'm going to just kind of rewrite my map, like how I approach my job. I'm going to rewrite everything because this is just not working. So I pitched him on hiring me. There was no job. And I, to this day, don't know why he went for it because it wasn't a very structured conversation. He was just like, oh, what are the things you like doing? And I'm just throwing spaghetti at the wall, like anything sticks, great. But something did stick, I guess. So I got hired. And then it was kind of scary because I'm a nobody. At this point, I've worked for 7 to 9 years. And I felt like I had nothing to show for it. So it was a little rough. especially the first year. So to get through it, I basically did this Seinfeld experiment.
Okay. What role did you start off on?
Nothing. It was just like, you'll figure it out. There was no role.
There's nothing. Okay.
There's no title, no role. There was
What function?
Do you mean sales?
Yeah. What function?
literally nothing
Like sales, marketing. No, you didn't have any direction
Yeah.
at all.
What?
The only thing
How big was this company? Yeah, I'm just wondering, like at the time.
like,
Like,
how does that work?
Yeah, it has to be some area.
50 to 60 people.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
And I think, I had a payments background. I'd worked
Okay.
at a bank. I was an engineer before that. And then I worked at this company, which was a payments processor
Okay.
in a BD role. So I had, making it out like I was just like wandering around, but I had some skills, which I guess like I must have talked about. It's just very unclear to me what I was trying. I was literally just like anything.
Anything but what you were doing before.
Yeah, I think maybe we do go after the things that we need. I couldn't tell you this was some strategic thing on my part, but I think what I wanted was something as unstructured as this so I could rewrite my roadmap.
Okay, got it.
But I didn't think about all this like very clearly. Like I just drifted towards it.
Yeah, it sounds like here's a small company, 50
Yeah.
people. They have a lot of, usually in a smaller company, you're wearing multiple hats. It's
Totally.
like, these are the skills I have. Give me a shot and I'm going to go in
Yeah.
and figure out where the need is. And you're like,
Yeah.
But it's interesting because I haven't heard many stories that way. It's like
Yeah.
you go in and you're like an engineering leader. You go in and you're sales. You go in and you're product. You're going in and you're marketing, right?
Yeah.
So you actually didn't have a role or a function that
Yeah.
you're like, I want to do that, but I want to just be in that environment and figure it out.
Yeah.
It's very, very
They
interesting.
even the interview, they made up an interview and they never used it again. Like it was just, they didn't know how to actually interview me. But it's
They
pretty
were new.
important.
They were new. Yeah.
But it was pretty important to interview me and have the whole company agree to hire me, right? If not, somebody hired me by fiat, people are going to have all kinds of tension about that. You don't want that for this person that you've just hired. So I went through a process. And a lot of the opportunity at the time at the company was they were moving a lot of money. It was a financial services company, right? Because we process billions of dollars in reimbursements. And nobody was really working on the operational aspects of that because there was engineering, to your earlier point, there's engineering, there's sales, marketing. It's none of their job to take care of all of the compliance, bank relationships, fraud management, risk management. So that was a glaring opportunity. And I kind of just like glommed onto that, figured out all of that, built that team, and I went from there. But what was interesting in the story, when I look back, was me deciding I need to like do all the opposite things that I've been doing so far. And that's why I call it the Seinfeld experiment, because you know how he goes, like, all your instincts are totally wrong, so you should just do the opposite. And that was like a huge Seinfeld joke. So that's kind of what I was trying. And I sort of had the same roadmap I was telling you about from working with Amy. And interestingly, it's somewhere in me, and it just was waiting to like take proper shape. But I, at the time, felt so, I didn't know how to think about my own career. It felt a little bit like a failure. So if I thought about that, I would get stressed out and get very upset with myself. So my strategy was, instead of thinking about that, let's just very tactically think about what is the thing you're going to do today and do it well and feel good about that input and go home. So I would get through it one day at a time. But as a result, I was very good at what I did because I directed all my obsessive energy at the actual input. And then before I knew it, I got promoted to director. People, more importantly, a lot of people would seek me out to ask my opinion on things. They wanted to know how I thought something should be designed. If I had ideas, they had a lot of traction. So that's what finally made me develop self-confidence, because I started to see myself as somebody that could figure things out and solve problems, which I hadn't been doing before. And as a result, felt like a fraud all the time.
Wow. And
So it sounds like you were doing some of the work that you figured out with Amy, and you were able to put like a label on it and identify it. But you were doing I'm going to focus on the input today because that's all I can do.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to stress myself out about the output. And like, I don't have a specific title, I don't have whatever. So it's like, it's kind of cool to hear your story about how it came full circle and having a coach helped you to kind of like label it and identify that process works for you.
Totally.
Seems like a lot of self-discovery, even getting into that role, and then you're in that role and you weren't also happy, and then you found Amy, and then now you're loving it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely.
And how long you been at Expensify now?
I joined August of 2015. So this August, it'll be 10 years.
10 years? Wow.
That's
a long time.
huge.
And your role is?
Oh, so I did that. I did that operations-ish role.
Yeah.
Then I built the operations team.
Okay.
And then I sort of built it and invested in the people that I hired. And they turned out to be really great and were leading different things in the team. That team didn't need me anymore, which was perfect. So I did product for a bit. I built our corporate card. I built global reimbursements. Then I became the person, we were raising money, which later turned into, we were doing a series, thinking about doing a Series D, but that turned into an IPO, which was fantastic.
Wow. Congrats.
Thank you.
Nice.
Huge.
2021, such a beautiful year.
IPO, beautiful year.
It was
It makes
amazing,
sense.
so much fun. I mean, it was so much work, but so much fun. So during that time, because I'd built so much of our backbone in terms of payments and ops, it made sense for me to be front and center talking to talking to investors. And also, ironically, like I was telling you guys earlier, 2020 beginning was that like complete lack of motivation, thinking that maybe I just didn't even like this job, or I'd kind of regressed. Started working with Amy, kind of to your earlier point, what was a defensive strategy before became a very deliberate thing. Because one of the sessions, I remember it so clearly, Amy asked, what was the last time you felt fulfilled? And then it all came rushing back. That strategy worked. Maybe I should try it again. So, and, you know, I want to say that was like April of 2020. And I was made the COO December of 2020. Wow. And that was like a night and day shift.
Yeah.
So that was and once I became once we went public, you know, COO people always think about it as ops and HR and legal and things like that. But my role is actually very, very different now. I do probably 95% of my time is spent on go-to-market.
Oh.
So we always had a sales and marketing motion that was very much brand driven. But we also, from a product perspective, had almost no competition. So we could focus everything on brand and didn't need to do all that much in the other areas of the business. And we couldn't even we couldn't stop growing.
And your actual product is for expenses. Like there's not, there wasn't a lot of competition?
At the time.
At the time. Got it. But now.
Post 2020, and I want to say kind of started in 2019, there's insanely good products.
Got it.
And so now we've had to rethink our strategy and be much more aggressive and much more deliberate. And I love that work. And if you had told me 10 years ago that, why don't you do that? I'd be like, I don't want to do sales and marketing. And now it's all I do. And I love it.
Wow.
Because for us and for a lot of product-led growth companies, that's not just literally sales and marketing in the traditional sense. It's a lot of using your product for testing, using your product for onboarding. Very, very data-driven. And I love all of that. So never a dull day.
Yeah. You figured it out along the way, right?
Yeah. It's a very unique story. It's a very unique story. And you've had multiple roles.
Yeah.
And then now here you are CEO at not the traditional role, but sales and marketing.
Yeah.
So now with the shift in AI, how have you seen that impact your business, and how's it changed? Yeah.
I think personally, the largest benefit we're getting out of AI is sort of taking unstructured data and giving us insights that helps us make the processes smarter and better.
Can you give us an example? Yeah.
For example, in the sales organization, there's tons of calls and demos that our sales team is doing. And before, when you needed to kind of figure out how are people responding to price on these plans, how are people responding to the fact that they can adopt expense, but then also lean into Expensify as their travel and chat and card platform.
I hate expenses.
I know. Who wants to do that?
Well, then we should look into
You want
it.
to automate it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's the worst offender.
my
I'm just saying, like,
kryptonite.
okay, I'm gonna just share some
Little
experiences.
moment. Are you sharing or am I? Because you can talk all the shit you want right now.
No, because she. So when we worked together at LinkedIn, she was in charge of some expenses. And then also her own expenses. She would never do them all the time.
I did them eventually as a procrastinator, but there wasn't a simple platform or process or tool that we used. And I maybe waited until the end of the fiscal year to turn everything in. And like
you waited a full year?
Yeah, and they get really upset. Yeah.
And Erica's like, okay, don't do that again next year. And then the next year comes around and she's like, no, like really, you can't be doing that.
Also, she was like, on some of this stuff.
Yeah. And then I moved from that role into program management. And I said, that's
no
one
more.
job that shouldn't follow me in my role at
and
all.
Even here in the Humanizer, I'm like,
I know. I offered. I was like, "Do you want me to help track it?" She's like, "I got it.
No, I don't
we'll
think
figure
so.
it out later." But yeah, I could be better.
We've
If
got
we
to
use
set
a
you both
platform like
up.
that.
Yeah, maybe you can help. It's like, why is your product like? Why would that be great? Why would that make this experience solve?
Let's flip it on its head. Why did you procrastinate? Or what is the thing you needed to do that was
Are
not
we doing
just-
therapy? Are you coaching me right now?
Well, she's trying to.
I'm
Well,
trying
she's in
to
sales and marketing.
No,
so her job
honestly,
is
gather
selling on
intel.
Just to be completely honest, I'm not going to call out what we use, what platform we used at that company, but it was a pain in the butt because every time I ever submit an expense, even to this day, I get kickback.
There's so much
from
back
the
and forth.
team that's processing and says, "Oh, you didn't do this. Oh, you need to give me that. Oh, you need an itemized spreadsheet of the people and I'm like, can you just look at the thing I already attached it? Like you're stressing me. It was stressful.
It makes you not want to file anything, and you have people behind the scenes right now are all nodding their head. There's a lot of shitty products out
and
there.
it's just it's so frustrating because you want to get that done and check that off, and it seems like the simplest to do, but as soon as you hit submit and feel like you were done, you're not done because they're going to come back and you're going to have to revisit that again in a week or two, and it's going to take
X
2
amount of
weeks to
time.
close it out. And so I would
it's painful.
prioritize everything else.
Yeah.
Because there are other priorities too that were burning. And
that she does. She did amazing at.
Belatedly, she's like, that's the only thing.
The expenses were for sure my
Sure,
kryptonite.
yeah.
So if there's what is
tell us,
Expensify
how
do?
is this
That was
helpful?
helpful so that I can directly address
you.
why it would be better. So the way that our product is structured is whoever this team is that is sending it back and asking for more, we work hand in hand with them to set up their workspace so that all these rules, like if it is a hotel, we need itemized bill. If it is a dinner, we need all the attendees. These rules are all captured up front and set up.
You can't submit until that field is filled
You can
or whatever.
submit, but it'll. So we allow people to submit because sometimes they're not so strict, and they will approve it without it.
Right.
Some companies, others are strict. So what we do is you scan a receipt. That's all you're doing. We capture all the details, and then based on the category, all of that is. And AI, we use AI in that realm, by the way. Like it basically uses merchant location, things like that to auto-categorize.
Oh, that's helpful.
Which is very helpful because then you can apply the rules and immediately, and I'm talking, you scan it within the minute, you will see a red mark against all the things that, and explanations for all the things you need to still do. You can submit it if you chose to without doing them, but it will still be read. And it also now gives the person reviewing it an immediate picture of all the things you didn't do. So if they kick it back one time and say, hey, do all the things that you didn't do, which is flashing in red. And so you scan a receipt, you do the 1, 2, 3, whatever the rules have set up for you to do for that category of expense, and you're done. You never have to go back in the tool and do anything. And if you get reimbursed for them, then you get same day or next day reimbursed, so long as your
That's
admin
nice.
pays it.
That's a huge
Yeah,
benefit.
because ours is also like, they'll get you in the next pay period if it's a reimbursement for a personal expense. Or
Why should you be out the money?
right? Yeah, that makes sense. So it sounds like an improvement. Like if you knew ahead of time.
you wouldn't have had to wait for $20,000 to come back to you.
That is a true statement.
Oh my God, $20,000.
$20,000.
Those are such embarrassing days. I'm sorry.
But we're
Even some of my admin friends were like, "How are you still working here?" And I'm like, "Because I'm really good at everything
She's
else."
really good at we are not going to fire her right now. That's not a fireable moment.
I still work there, by the way, so let's not air this forever. I don't know.
That's
No,
not
it's
your
okay.
primary job anymore.
Yeah, this year. Okay,
That's what
thank you, though.
You know, you focus on the
This is
skills you're really good
cool.
at.
I
and
agree.
And so that I think that's a lesson also that you were like, and even through your journey, it's like, I
Yeah.
really enjoy this,
Yeah.
or I don't enjoy that. So don't
Yeah.
do that type
And
of
you
work.
find the things that you like, and
Definitely.
you grab onto those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you find people that can do the things that you're not very good at, and you complement each other.
Yeah.
So the company Expensify, I'm glad we went through that.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
Feel cleansing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I
set you
needed that.
both
That's
up,
like
and then you're
years
gonna-
of stress that just get. There is a solution.
And so this company that you're moving forward, how many customers? What type of customer do you have? And
Yeah.
is it working out okay? And then
Yeah.
also any other things with AI that's
Yeah.
helpful, like how
Oh,
you
yeah,
win that
that's
deal.
how we
You're in sales,
started,
and yeah,
right? The sales conversation. Yeah. So if we before, when we wanted specific intel like reactions to price or certain features, it was all anecdotal, and anecdotal is good. You still want qualitative inputs, but it all has recency bias. And so the way that we use AI is there is a list, all calls are recorded, and AI just kind of scans all the call transcripts and extracts specifically the answers to the questions you're asking. And it works fantastic, works really, really well. And it's sort of deterministic enough, but not so deterministic that accuracy is a huge concern. So that's sort of, I feel, the best intersection of requirements where AI shines.
is that to help the product be better? Or like how are you using that input?
We use the feedback to then decide like what are the areas to improve from a product perspective, pricing. But
Pricing
pricing isn't even
adjustments.
all about the number. It's about the clarity and transparency around what is the unit you're charging for.
Or the
And-
value that comes from that
Totally.
cost. Yeah.
Like if some of the salespeople are pitching price in a way that is resonating very well, like what can we learn from that so we can upskill everybody else? And democratizing. Wow, why am I struggling so much? Democratizing.
I would
that
do the
sort of-
same thing.
I blame you. We're only
Champagne in.
champagne and gibberish out.
Yeah. It's a celebration, so it's okay.
And we only had a small glass.
Yeah.
For the record.
But no, democratizing.
Yeah.
Yes.
The best practices, if you will.
Yeah. And then I think the other part is like feeding input into what kind of product you want to make and make it better. So then you win that deal, not only on price, but product.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah.
So then companies doing well and
Yeah, there's never a dull day. I mean, the markets have been just nuts, up and down. So there's that. But from just a core business perspective, the product is it's very exciting. We've been working on a new version of our existing product. It's a lot more modern, has collaboration kind of built into its flow. For example, you submit an expense, it has some rule violations, but you have a reason for the rule violations. That conversation happens somewhere else today. And it just delays everything a little bit because you have to come back and make a note here. And where do you make the... Now what we do is the tool basically makes it so you can click on the expense and you can just chat with your approver right there. So it gives the context of the expense with the conversation, which they can then refer back to during an audit. We can also use AI there, which is a future plan, but we're going to use it to go through all such conversations on a workspace in order to suggest improvements to the workspace configurations and rules that admins could make. Because what we noticed with the data we have is that 80% of expenses, if the workspace is properly set up, super smooth. Like nobody needs to talk about them. Nobody needs to spend an inordinate amount of time on them very fast.
is that how you measure
straightforward.
success also?
I mean, it would be great for it to be 100, but 80 happens.
But that's like how fast that workflow is. That's like,
Oh,
hey,
that's right.
yeah, for
Yeah.
your business. Yeah.
At a point in time, we used to say this, like if you almost never open your app, we've succeeded because your expenses are just flowing through and you use the app so little. Because why should you be thinking about your expenses? It's like you had a visceral reaction, like I hate expenses. So
Right.
that's universal. So 80% just flows through. But then there's 20%, they're like sticky wickets. So if we can use intel that we gather from your interactions with your approvers and your auditors to help you decrease that to 10, 5, we've done you a huge service, returned time to you. That's ultimately the goal.
Wow. Yeah, I love that. I love it. And you're in the trenches, it sounds like, still. Like, you
Very
listen
much.
to some of the calls.
Yes.
You have the AI that will bring you the
Yeah.
data that you're looking for pricing or for whatever.
Definitely.
And you're just side by side with your team.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
You know, some people, I'm jealous of this capability that some people have, talent, I don't know what to call it, but it's possible for them to be very high level and still have really smart ideas and understand things without really getting their hands dirty. That's not me. I need to do the thing in order to, in order to understand and be better at how to improve it, but also B, I feel like if I'm not doing the thing, then why should you, who's doing it, respect my ideas or change based on what I'm saying? So if I take that responsibility very seriously.
I love that.
It's also super fun.
Yeah,
Like,
you'd rather be in the trenches, and then you have a stronger opinion that it should be X, Y, or Z. And it's like, I've been there, lived it, and then also you also get the cred too.
Totally.
It's like, okay, I believe that your idea makes sense. Well,
Well, I love that because there's also moments like with us working together where you talk about you love getting in the trenches. Like, we went on an annual winter trip with our team.
Yeah.
And something happened where they needed engineering support on a war room to dig in, and her and the senior leaders on the team went to a room to go focus on it so all their engineers who normally would be handling that could enjoy the trip and do the things. And she's like, this is the stuff I love, though. I'm getting in, I'm coding, I'm getting dirty, we're figuring it out. And you're doing the same thing.
Totally.
It's just like, that's where it all started for you.
Yeah.
You know, you probably didn't wake up one day and be like, I want to be a leader, and just never know what's happening
Totally.
at the base of my product, right?
also,
the
you want to be in the
foundations.
trenches with the team. I mean, I feel bad on that ski trip. There's like 4 engineers that had to be in a room with me, but everybody else was having fun. They'll never. I
You
never
all
lived
had
that down.
fun.
We all still had fun afterwards. We made it to the very end, and we got the problem solved. But there is like cred with the team and being part of it that goes
definitely.
a long way. So, how large is the company now?
You know, we're a slightly different beast. We are about 140 employees, but we use a lot of agencies, external contributors. We call them contributors, engineers. A lot of external what do you call them? 1099?
The contractors.
For sales as well. So I think
got it.
all in, if everybody was an employee, probably be like 500.
Yeah, I was just curious about the growth from where you started to where it's at and how it's, and then it's still small enough and where you can be nimble and do a lot
Like
of
I know
different
everybody
things.
by name. I see everybody.
That's fabulous. And so then headquarters are here, and so you work remote some period of time because you're obviously
We're fully remote.
fully remote. Okay, and so you never changed back and forth. Yeah.
We didn't change. But pre-COVID, we were still remote.
Okay.
We still always had remote employees, I should say. But pre-COVID, most of our employees were either in San Francisco or in Portland. And then we had a decent chunk of them in UK and Australia as well. But post-COVID, everybody sort of moved around and found their own bliss, including me. And so now it kind of doesn't make sense anymore, because even if you actually go into the office here, you could be working on a project with people that are nowhere in this office. So it just has no purpose.
Right.
So we're remote first, although we still maintain this office in San Francisco. We have an office in Portland, and we have spaces that we've rented in New York and UK and a few other.
And you found it to be, I mean, there's always like, hey, you have a remote work, it works, doesn't work. Have you found it to be successful and it's
good
working well for
question.
you? Yeah.
We, I think earlier when we were chatting, you guys were saying no meeting Fridays. My husband's job is very meeting driven too, like he's in calls all day. We have always been very no live meetings type of company. And the reason we did that was because, like I said, we always had a distributed set of employees. And it was just unfair to everybody that worked in time zones where they couldn't be on the meeting, and now they've missed everything. And we've made decisions without them. And this is never going to be equal if we did that. So therefore, we struggled and figured out how to do everything on Slack is the app we use.
Oh, that's
but
great.
you know, soon we'll be moving over to our own. But we still use Slack. How to do it by just asynchronously communicating. It has, it 90% of the time it works like a charm. But there is the 10% of the time where you don't have the context of a person's tone. The personal touch just isn't there. That's why we do events like this when the entire company's here this week in San Francisco.
Thank goodness
And that's why the stars aligned.
Yeah.
and you're here.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And we sort of say, oh, you know, we've been withdrawing from the trust and goodwill bank accounts, and now we're going to put some deposits in.
So now, how are you feeling about your job and where all the coaching? Are you still doing coaching? Well, you said with Amy.
On and off.
On and off, and you feel like you're in a better space. And
Definitely. I was telling somebody today that I'm going to be on your podcast, and I love the name HumanizeHer, by the way.
Thank you.
So
we
I
made
said-
it. We
yeah,
created it. We
it's
have the domain
beautiful.
name, all of it. LLC. We're trademarking it. It's happening.
Domain name, all of it. I love that. And as I was saying, I'm going to be on this podcast, and he said, what's it called? I said, HumanizeHer. And almost immediately I thought, I don't feel, I feel subhuman, but I'm going to pull it together or something like that is what I said to him. But so I say that because I feel like this process, like you go through and you figure a lot of stuff, and now you feel like you're on the other side, and you can't, it's sort of like a diet. Like you lost all the weight. No way you're going to gain it back.
Yeah,
And then you
are.
gain it back.
Trust me, I
And
can
then
tell
you lose it
are.
again. That's sort of how I find my journey to be. I know all the things I know, and my baser instincts still kick in all the time. And some weeks are good and some weeks are not. But yeah, I think I have the tools to put myself back on track.
Yeah, and I think it is all about the tools. And as you go through more and more experiences and get the coaching, get the help, you have the tools to bring it forward. So with that being said, we would love to hear about a woman that you would like to elevate in this moment. It's all about paying it forward and, you know, humanize her a little bit and share someone that you admire and want to give a shout out.
Well, we talked about Amy already.
Yeah, that's right. She got some good airtime.
Yeah,
She'll be
she
happy with
did,
that.
right? She's a pretty big influence in my life. My mom passed away when I was 25.
Oh, wow. I'm so sorry.
Was one of the roughest years of my life. My mom, I mean, if I said I came from a middle class family, my mom more so, and was kind of superhuman, figured out everything she ever knew on her own. She had me when she was 23, something like that. And she always told this story where 10th or 15th day after she had me, she went to an interview. And that just is wild to me, like how, and she always cared about progression in her job, and she had renal failure, that's how she passed. But even like when she was sick, she was still worried about, or worried is the wrong word, she was still very motivated and would be working to get the next, like she didn't think, why does it matter anymore? She was always like, as long as I'm doing this, I'm going to be the best. And, you know, it's a double-edged sword because my mom was my motivating force. But interestingly, she's also the reason I was so manically competitive. Because to my mom, being second was unacceptable. And so it's like a huge influence, which will always be with me, right? Like because if I ever didn't perform, my mom would always say, what resources have we not given you that you would not be the first at this? And that's voice
that's
is
a
like
massive pressure too.
Yeah, it is.
But wow.
But it was my, I guess, double-edged sword because it's also the thing that made
helped.
me. Yeah.
Always strive to be better and
Totally.
the best, and feeling like you're not hitting that mark even though you are.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if I ever got upset, she'd say, I know you can be the first, so why would I accept? You know,
Wow.
So in a sense, the pressure, but I don't know why I didn't feel more self-confident because my mom clearly thought I was going to rule the world.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, pressure makes diamonds, right? So here you are.
I love
diamond,
that. What a
shining
nice
bright.
line.
Yeah. Just keep that in your mind.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that'll help motivate
Wow.
you.
Yeah.
That was my coaching moment back to you.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, it sounds like your mom. I'm sorry about your loss, and
appreciate it.
I can't imagine at 25 that must have been
Yeah.
so challenging. But she's part of you, so
Definitely.
and that's why you are where you're at today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for spending the time, and so glad we caught you and we were spending time with you. And so thank you so much for being here.
I love it here. By the way, the studio is gorgeous.
Thank you.
What a warm space. I love it. And
It's
thank you for
our
having
little
me.
home away from home.
Love it.
Well, welcome back anytime.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
And thanks for celebrating with
yeah,
us too.
thank you.
Cheers
All right,
again.
that's all right.
Nobody's glass is empty, right?
No,
We don't
gotta
need
finish
that
it
bad.
now.
Talking
We
too
gotta
much.
finish it now.
All right. That's a
It's a
wrap.
wrap. Thank you.
Thanks. Yay.
Humanize Her would not be possible without the crew behind the scenes. Ash Blodgett, our director and creative producer, for guiding us with expertise, creativity, and passion. Becky Davis, our talented director of photography and creative producer, for bringing our stories to life with stunning visuals. And Kristen West, our director of brand and design, for creating an emotional brand identity. To our listeners, we're on this journey together, and we love hearing how this podcast has helped you. It keeps us going, so please keep sending us your stories to her@humanizeher.com to be featured in upcoming episodes. And if you'd like to help us with this movement, please support by rating and subscribing. Until next time.